Hi, my name is Fred Dixon. I'm the product manager for BigBlueButton. I'm also the CEO of Blindside Networks, and I'm going to give you an overview of BigBlueButton from the point of view of a presenter. And this is for the upcoming iMoot. So everything you need to know, I'll cover in the next few minutes in terms of presenting at iMoot. So I'll just tell you a little bit about Blindside Networks, and we'll go through joining the audio. All of you in the session have already joined the audio, but I'll sort of point out some things for it. And making the presentation, things that you have as a presenter and moderator, and just talk about a few common issues. Things should go well, but we always want to arm you with a bit of knowledge so that you can handle if there's anything with a network or microphone. So just briefly, Blindside Networks, we started the BigBlueButton project in 2008. We manage all the releases of BigBlueButton. We just finished our 12th release, and we focus on making BigBlueButton as elegant as possible to reduce the support effort. I've learned in the past that you don't have to have every feature in a product to be successful. You actually have to have just the right features with a really good interface and make it really solid. And of course, from the Moodle community, we have a very deep integration with Moodle. Blindside Networks also manages or develops and supports the Moodle plugin, which I think, checking the stats, was actually downloaded over 100,000 times in the last 12 months. So Moodle is very close to us. A little overview of BigBlueButton in terms of the UI. You're already seeing it right now, the components of it. The window on the left shows you who's connected. You can see that there's some people connected with a speaker icon. That means they're listen only. Some have a microphone icon. Everybody's muted right now, except myself. And you can see when I talk, my microphone icon is highlighting. That tells you who's generating audio. There's the video doc here. Usually you'll just be yourself presenting the video. It's optional, but if you want to present the video, it'll be captured as part of the recording as well. The presentation area here, which you can see me moving around, I have some ability to annotate things. I'll show you a little bit more in a few moments, some of the controls. But as a presenter, you're really just uploading your presentation and probably just advancing the slides, and then just using your audio, your microphone to interact with the audience. And then there's a chat area as well. The chat is great, especially for presentations like iMoot, where there may be many people who are participating. They will just type in questions as you go along. And anyone who's presented online in courses knows it's pretty easy to just kind of scan the chat every now and then and work the questions or comments that people have into the presentation. Helps make it more interactive. And we do desktop sharing as well. And I'll cover that near the end for those of you that need to do desktop sharing. In terms of just the recommendations we have, we recommend you'd use a wired connection if possible, just more stable. If you're at home and you're using wireless connection and you're participating in this presentation and everything's good, that's great. But in the absence of anything else, we would always recommend wired, or get as close as you can to your wireless base station. In terms of the bandwidth, we'd recommend like 0.5 megabit second upload and 1 megabit second download. Most people now on residential internet have at least that. But you can always check it by going to speedtest.net. It shows you your apparent bandwidth, not what your ISP provides you. So if you're getting disconnected or your students tell you the audio is not so good, you can go to the speedtest.net and do a quick test. And if you find out that you're like at 0.1 megabits upload, well, it's the bandwidth that's the issue. And for the microphone, we definitely recommend using a headset. I'm just using my MacBook Air. I have the earbuds in my ear. It's very easy for me to present. I've got both my hands free, and my audio should be coming through pretty clearly. You can do it without a microphone, if a headset, that is, if you're using your laptop and you're for a quiet area, but you'll always be able to hear the best and get the best audio for using a headset. We recommend using FireFox and Chrome for BigBlueButton. Part of it is they're really good browsers. The other part is they both support WebRTC audio. WebRTC is web real-time communications, and it's the way that the browser can send and receive audio natively. And it's really good. So I noticed here there are people from all around the world. My audio should be coming through very clear. I was talking with Vinny a few moments ago. He's in Australia. The latency was low. For those techies, it's like 48 kilohertz wideband audio using the Opus codec going over UDP. So it's pretty amazing. We've built into BigBlueButton some intelligence to help users make sure they've got the best possible environment. We just noticed in the past that we could tell somebody, hey, you should use Firefox and Chrome, but if they never heard it, they may start off with Safari and IE, and it would still work, but you get a better presentation or a better experience. So you may see in the lower right-hand corner this little warning that said unread notifications. So what we've done is we built in some feedback that, hey, if when BigBlueButton starts up, it takes a look at your environment and it does a few quick checks just to see if you got the latest version of Flash, if you're using Firefox or Chrome, if the browsers are out of date, and if you're behind a firewall as well. So if you see a warning or a notification note, just click it, and maybe there's some things that you can do, such as like switching to Firefox or Chrome. If it says that you're tunneling, you definitely want to get to a different network location that's not so restricted by a firewall. Most users will start up and there will be no notification. They're just on a good network. They're using Firefox or Chrome. It's up to date. Flash is up to date. You're good to go. Okay. I'm going to talk about audio setup for just briefly. Most of you just joined and the audio is good. There's a video that we made up online at the BigBlueButton.org website. That was basically me having seen pretty much every microphone issue over the last couple of years. I just sat down one week and said, okay, I am going to create the video that shows like, here are the 4 types of microphones. Here's how to connect them. Here's how to check them in the operating system, and Windows and Mac, to make sure the operating system sees an active microphone. And then here's how to join BigBlueButton. Most of the time it just works, but I've seen cases where people will plug the microphones in incorrectly or use the incorrect microphone or have the hardware mute on, or for whatever reason, the microphone itself just doesn't work. And the operating system isn't detecting any microphone. And if that happens, it doesn't matter what happens to BigBlueButton. Your operating system itself just isn't picking anything up. So if you have any audio issues, these videos are available at the BigBlueButton.org website. And it's just me sitting down and kind of walking through for a few minutes how to get your microphone working. Once you've got your microphone working, there's some other videos there. There's a moderator presenter video, which is really, again, me sitting down for about 4 minutes, I think it is, 4 or 5 minutes, and talking about all the things that you can do and showing you. So I'm going to give you an overview here. But if anybody has never used BigBlueButton before or just wants to have sort of like another view of what's possible with the presenter, just go to BigBlueButton.org/videos and look at the moderator presenter overview. Okay, just very briefly on audio, you would have seen that when you started up, you had 2 choices. You could join with microphone or listen only. A few people here joined listen only. You can see there's a speaker icon to the right of their name. This is in the users list. That means they can hear, but they can't talk. If you join with microphone, what you would have been done is prompted by the browser, because the browser wants to make sure, hey, this application wants to access your microphone. Are you okay with that? So the browser would ask you, can you share your microphone? And this is what it looks like in Chrome. So you just click allow. And in Firefox, this is what it looks like as well. You can just click share selected device. Firefox gives you the choice of a microphone. It's always a default microphone, it is. If you plug a headset into your computer will make it the default by definition. Okay. Once you've given access to your microphone, what we then do, BigBlueButton then puts you into a private audio room. So you're not in the main conference room yet. You're in the private audio session, and it's an echo session. So anything you say will get echoed back to you. So this allows you to just basically speak a few words and see if you can hear yourself in your headset. And what that means is the audio would go through your microphone, through your computer, all the way to the BigBlueButton server, all the way back into your headset. Most people, when they do this, they hear themselves fine, and you click yes. That means you're going in with a functioning microphone. But this allows us to catch the case where somebody maybe didn't have their microphone connected correctly, their audio is turned down, there's a hardware mute engaged, a whole bunch of things. So if you say no, then what we'll do is we'll take you to a page which allows you to choose different microphones, check the energy levels, adjust the gain, and hopefully get a functioning microphone. If you can't get a functioning microphone here, I would recommend go back and watch the video on setting up your microphone. It's probably a connectivity issue, or it's muted in the hardware, or maybe the operating system itself isn't picking it up. If you see some energy and click next, you'll come into the session. If you're using Firefox or Chrome and you've come in right from the first echo test, you should see the words WebRTC audio in the lower right-hand corner. We always ask if someone's having trouble with the audios, we ask, do you see the words WebRTC audio? It's an easy indication to say you've got the right browser, you made a connection using WebRTC, and your audio should be pretty good. Notwithstanding any network issues, that is. All right. So I'm going to talk about presenter controls right now. So things you can do as a presenter. Obviously, you can upload slides. I think the slides may already be uploaded for you, but if you haven't, if you want to upload, if you need to upload them yourself, look, it's super easy. You have an icon in the lower left-hand corner for uploading the slides. And then once you do, click that, you will be you'll be able to just choose select file. You select the presentation file on your computer. As it says here, for uploading any Office doc, you can upload any Office document, but for best results, upload a PDF. Why is that? Because when you save a file as a PDF, whether it's a Word document or an Excel document, or in this case, likely PowerPoint or Keynote, all the fonts get saved. So you don't have any font substitution, you upload it, you get really good slides. I mean, it's basically exactly what you see in the PDF. So you upload it, click, or you select it, click upload. And then your presentation comes up. So here I just have a white presentation. I'll go back to that slide in a moment. The first thing you can do is you'll see these controls in the bottom. You can advance, next, and previous. This is probably all you would do. And then move the mouse around as well. You also have some annotation controls as well. So here I'm just showing what you'd see if you had uploaded a white document, or so there's nothing here in the presentation area, but I just want to call out the things you can do as the controls. You see me here move the mouse around. I can annotate in terms of circling, or I'm just basically drawing. If you're going to do lots of annotations, I'm using the mouse, but you may find it's good to have like a tablet, a Wacom tablet or a Bamboo tablet or whatever. You can draw squares. You can draw circles. Probably the things you'll do most is the pen tool, and you can also annotate. So you could say great point here, something like that. So you can put text in. All of this comes through the recording as well. So all the annotations you do, all the slide advances, the zoom, pan, it all comes through. Okay. Once you're done, the recordings in iMoot will actually be a video file, and it will have everything except the chat. The chat will appear inside the web page, but the video file will be a collection of all the webcams, the desktop sharing, the audio, the video, and the annotations as well. Okay. So that's pretty much it as the presenter. Like at this point, once you're logged in, you got the video, you got your audio on, you shared your webcam if you want to. The control is up left-hand corner to share it. You then upload your presentation and you just advance. And people will be here in the session just like we are now. So the moderator, but as the moderator, you have a bit more controls, and I'll explain the terminology again. Students will come in as a viewer. They can share their webcam, microphone, and chat. That's all they can do. When you come in through Moodle as an instructor, you come in as a moderator. Moderator has control over the other viewers, and the moderator can make anyone presenter, including themselves, which is usually there by default. So I just went through some of the presentation capabilities. You could make a student presenter if you want, but in this case, you're going to be the presenter. But the moderator has some extra ability as well. The moderator can start and stop the recording. So I did that at the beginning after we did a bit of introductions, I started the recording. We're now recording this segment. But you can start and stop the recording as much as you want. In the case of iMoot, I think somebody else will probably start the recording for you. Again, you don't have to worry. You're just here to present and enjoy. But BigBlueButton has the ability to start, stop the recording as often as you wish. And you'll see when you log in as a moderator and join the audio, you get this warning that says, hey, with great power comes great responsibility. Basically, it's how we phrase it. It says you can record the meeting, but you must click the start, stop, record button. And again, there will be somebody in your session, and they'll take care of that for you. In other words, you'll be a moderator, but other people who are technically supporting the session will also be in as moderators. And any moderator can start and stop the recording. As a moderator, you also have the ability to mute and unmute other users as well. So if you are talking and someone's causing a lot of background noise, you can always click on their icon to mute it. And you also have the ability to mute everybody else as well. Again, one of the technical folks will do that. They'll probably just set mute all users. And you can see in the users window on the left-hand side, it says viewers muted. I have engaged mute all users. And so they'll come in. Anybody who comes in, any students who come in late or any participants come in late, they'll just join muted by default. And there's also, again, this is just assigning the presenter role. Any moderator can click on the icon to the left of the user's name and make themselves presenter. Again, somebody will be there, they'll make you presenter, but if you find it during the session and you don't see the presentation controls, just click the icon to the left of your name and it'll make you presenter. Okay, so that's the presentation, the moderator. You've got pretty much the capabilities of BigBlueButton. I'll talk about the desktop sharing near the end, but let's just go through, actually, I'll go through desktop sharing now. So anybody who wants to do desktop sharing, when they're presenter, you'll see an icon in the upper left-hand corner here. And what you'll be able to do is click it and and then start the desktop sharing. And I actually have slides for this, I just realized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pick up where I left off, and you'll see the desktop sharing in a few moments. So let me talk about common issues. So the common issues are almost always related to hardware or networking configuration. So wireless is not always reliable. And if you're on a wireless network, like, please don't present from Starbucks. You know, go find an internet cafe somewhere and sip a coffee. You want to be at a reliable network connection. Wired is better. Ideally, you connect it to with your Ethernet cable. But if you're using wireless, just make sure you're as close as possible. If you're getting disconnected, you can try switching between FireFox and Chrome just to see if there's any difference. But likely, if your wireless is not very reliable, it's not much the browser or BigBlueButton can do. If your bandwidth is too low, in other words, your audio is coming through not so good, or the slides are not updating so quickly, you can do a quick test with speedtest.net. But again, the solution will be you'll probably need to switch to a different network location. And if you get a message that the firewall is blocking BigBlueButton, that's in the warning or the notifications in the lower right-hand corner, you'll definitely need to switch to a different network location. You'll just not want to be behind a network that's restricted by a firewall. A few things about audio. You definitely just use Firefox and Chrome. You should see the words WebRTC audio in the lower right-hand corner. You see that, you're good to go. Again, if you're on wireless, wireless drops packets so that there is compensation for packet loss in BigBlueButton, but if it's too much, you're going to get gaps in your audio. You won't hear it because you don't hear yourself talk, but your students may start typing in, you're coming through garbled or something like that. Again, if you're on wireless, try to get closer to the base station or switch to a wired network. If there's no audio, then it's probably your microphone. And again, I would go back to that video that I pointed out earlier on about checking your microphone. And that's at the bigbluebutton.org/videos. And with all things, if you cannot get your microphone to work or the audio is breaking up, do not worry, no drama. The iMoot session has a phone number, a dial-in number, and that you can pick up the phone and call in. We had to do this a couple times. I remember in the last sessions, people were presenting from places that just weren't good network. So again, no drama. You can see the phone number for these sessions if you just scroll up the chat list or scroll up the chat. It's in blue. There's a blue welcome text, and you can see a couple phone numbers there that you can use. Okay, two quick things about presentation. If you find that the slide translations are really slow, it's probably because you have a very smooth background gradient that got translated to like this very big file. The easiest thing to do is just use a solid gradient in the background instead of like a smooth, soft transition gradient that goes from like one light color of blue to another light color. Most people, this doesn't happen, but if you see the slide translations are really slow, the quick fix is to just change the background to a solid gradient and then just upload again. Best to check this out ahead of time if you can. I think there's ways that you can go into a sandbox room and just try uploading your slides and advance them and make sure they're good. Again, I see this very rarely, but just in case this is what happens, this is probably the cause of it. And the other thing is just upload as PDF. Your fonts will come through. If you try to just save it as if you upload a PPTX file, it will be pretty good, but there probably will be some font substitution going on. Finally, if there's anything that goes that you're not sure what's happened, your windows are not where they expect to be, or something's not right, just refresh your browser. You'll come right back into a clean session, and you can make yourself presenter, and your slides will all be there, your students will all be there, you can pick up where you left off. Just a few things about audio. Again, this is more of just a little bit of deeper. If you're not if your microphone's not working, you can always check on the operating system. In Windows, you can right-click on the speaker icon, choose recording devices, and this is a quick way to check that the microphone that you're using is actually the default, and it's actually generating audio. You'll see a green bar, and you'll want to make sure that's happening. If you're just not getting any audio, check on the operating system first. Again, most of the time it works, but that's the first place to look. And in Mac, it's a slightly different. It's the system preferences. Just type in sound. You'll see the sound control panel, and you'll see the microphone that's selected, and you should see some energy here as you're talking. And you can adjust the gain if you want. Okay, so the last bit is desktop sharing. For those of you that want to share their desktop, what we recommend is use FireFox. Chrome has actually stopped supporting launching of Java applets recently. So if you want to share your desktop, use FireFox. Only you must use FireFox because you're the only one who's going to be launching an applet. Everyone else is fine. They'll just see it as a video file. So if you click the desktop sharing icon, what you'll see is a window comes up, and you'll have two choices to share full screen or region. If you're on one monitor, just choose full screen. If you've got two monitors, you might choose region, and the way you can move the region around from monitor to monitor or whatever. If you have an out-of-date version of Java, or BigBlueButton detects you don't have Java installed, there'll be a message here that just tells you to click here to download or update Java. That'll take you to the Oracle website. You install it, you come up, you update it, and then you go back into BigBlueButton and try it again. Once you've got the latest version of Java, it works pretty well. There are two videos that, or there's a video that we show. There's one for Safari, but we'll recommend Firefox. There's a video that we show starting desktop sharing up in Firefox. So you can just watch that. Again, it's at the bigbluebutton.org/videos website. But what you're going to see is Firefox takes a very strong stance on protecting your security. And if you want to run a Java applet, it will ask you twice. It wants to really make sure you're okay running it. So first time you'll see a bar appear at the top, you click allow. And the next time you'll see, right under call it like the Lego block, you'll see it asking if it's okay to launch Java, and you'll just say allow and remember. After that, a few moments, the applet itself will launch, and you'll actually get a third dialog where the applet presents a security certificate and says, hey, I've been digitally signed. Is it okay if you let me run? You say yes, then you can share your desktop. Just so you see how it looks, I'll do it here with region. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so I just started to share my desktop. So here I'm just moving around a blue area, and you should see a window appear. If a user doesn't see the desktop sharing window appear, if someone says, hey, I don't see it appearing, you can tell me, say hi. See me chatting here. Just ask the user to refresh their browser. They'll come back in anew, and then they'll see the desktop sharing. So I'm just moving around. I'm here on my MacBook Air, so my screen is a little tight, but I just shared a region, and you can see in the lower left-hand corner, it shows me a preview, and when I'm done, I'm just going to click close. And I click close, desktop sharing stops. Okay, so that's it. That's from what BigBlueButton, sort of the controls to doing your audio, uploading the presentation, just going next and previous, some of the moderator controls, and just some troubleshooting stuff. Again, there will always be somebody in your session who can handle the technical stuff. Your role is actually kind of fun. You're just going to upload your slides and present. And there'll be people there to help you out. Yes, Siggy, it's always hopefully pretty simple if it works. I will point out that you are over the internet. You'll notice if you ever use Skype, even Skype will drop calls on you. So the internet is not guaranteed to be stable or any bandwidth. There's actually no guarantees whatsoever. It just happens that it's engineered to work very well. So if you do get dropped, don't panic. Just refresh your browser, come back in, because if you're getting dropped, it may be because your network momentarily went down. If you come back in, you're getting dropped again. You probably at that point, you can just switch your browser or just call into the conference bridge. I've seen once where the internet wasn't really very good at all for presenter, but they just called in and then just asked one of the moderator who's there to help them out to just advance their slides. So Point is just upload your slides and have fun. Okay. Are there any other questions? Sam, you don't have to turn off your webcam when you're doing the screen share. If you've got good upstream bandwidth, if you have the minimum bandwidth, like 0.5 megabits, you're probably going to want to turn off your webcam because the desktop sharing will use a lot of bandwidth. If you're on a good network connection at a university or home, again, you can just go to, I'll type it in here, speedtest.net. If you got like 2 or 3 megabits upload speed, you should be fine. So Raj, when you're zooming in and out, so that zooming in and out is all actually after you've uploaded the slides to BigBlueButton. So once the slides are in BigBlueButton, so you'd save them as a PDF, then you'd upload them. Once they're in BigBlueButton, BigBlueButton gives you the controls to zoom in and out, move the whiteboard around, annotate the slides, and all of this comes down to the users at events. It's actually much more efficient to upload slides and share slides in BigBlueButton than share your desktop. The reason is when you share your desktop, you're generating a video stream that's got to go through your upstream bandwidth, and a new video stream comes down to all the users. When you share your slides, BigBlueButton converts the slides get downloaded once, and for those students that are using screen readers, we actually pull the text out of the slides and make it available to the students. So if they're using JAWS on Windows, they can actually have JAWS read out the text of your slides. You cannot zoom during screen sharing. It's just full screen or a region. Screen sharing is good if you want to demonstrate something, like let's say you want to switch over to Moodle and you want to show something, or you want to show something at the command line or so on. But if you have slides, recommendation is just save them as PDF and upload them. It'll take the least amount of bandwidth. You'll have a lot of control over annotations. Anyone with screen readers can read it, and it's how most people are using BigBlueButton. Yeah, there's a good point. Gareth asked about the layout in the lower right-hand corner. So I'll kind of zoom in into here so you can see it. Everyone has this ability to change their layout. When you change your layout, it's actually independent of everybody else. So we could all change our layout, but it doesn't affect anybody else's layout. So yeah, changing the layout doesn't affect the recording, doesn't affect the presentation. It's just each user's preference of how they want to view it. And there's different layout choices there where it makes the presentation a bit larger or makes the video a bit larger. It depends on what the style of the presentation is. Usually if you're going to be doing just a collaborative session where there's no slides, you might just choose the webcam meeting layout. And if you're doing presentation and you don't really care what's going on in the user's window, a student might just choose the presentation meeting layout. But for yourself, you should just probably stay with the default layout. It shows you the presentation, it shows you the users list, and your slides are there. Yes, you can jump to a specific slide. Good question. I could have pointed that out. So when you advance the slides, you can actually click on the index itself, and it will bring up a thumbnail strip, and you can go to any specific slide. It's actually how I've been jumping back and forth in the slides. And you can switch between presentations as well. So if I go back here, when you upload presentations, this is the upload dialog box that you see. All your previous presentations will be here, and then you can switch back and forth to any one of them by clicking the show button. So you could literally, at the start of your presentation, upload 2 or 3 presentations, get them all ready, and then just switch back and forth between them. Okay. Good questions. Any other questions? Yes. So just thinking, if you want to share a video that's on YouTube, what we'd recommend is you take the link to the video and paste it in the chat. And let's say it's a 2-minute video. You can tell students, again, or viewers, click on the link in the chat and just watch the video, come back after 2 minutes. The screen sharing is not fast enough to capture the screen in real time and send it up. It would just take a lot of bandwidth to do that. So if you want to share a video, ideally just have it on YouTube or someplace you can have a public URL. Even if it's an unlisted video file, you just have to put the link in the chat and people can view it. Any links that you type in the chat will be visible during the recording as well. Any other questions?
Fred, could I ask a question?
Sure, Sam.
Okay, thanks. So I'd really like to have the participants do a live demo with me as I'm going through it. And to do that, they would need to download a file, a Word file to use. So how can I do that in the session?
Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to transfer files to a BigBlueButton, but there's one way you could upload your file if you use Dropbox. You could upload the file to Dropbox and then just share the URL in Dropbox. The Dropbox allows you to publish or share a file, and you could just put a URL in the chat, and then users click on it and they would download the Word document.
Because what I was thinking of doing was putting a link to that file in my iMoot course for my presentation. But it seems like when we launch a presentation, it's in the same window, so we don't have access to that course anymore.
Okay, so here's the thing: if you've uploaded it to iMoot, if you upload it to the iMoot Moodle course, you should be able to take that link, paste it in the chat, and everybody should still have a session ID because they just launched from Moodle. So when they click on that, it'll open up in a new browser tab. The browser should go back to Moodle. Moodle should say, "Hey, I know you. You were just here a few moments ago, and I have a session ID for you," and it should load it as well. I would try it out, but that should work.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording now. Thanks to everybody who watched or listened. I hope you have a great presentation. Yes, the chat is recorded as well.